Nobody in Spain expected this. When Yaman stepped out of his hotel in Madrid last week, fans who had been waiting for hours with banners and flowers suddenly fell silent. It wasn't the usual smile, wave, or short greeting that they had come to know from him. This time, something was different. His expression was serious, almost distant. The cameras started flashing, and within seconds, social media exploded. What's going on with Yaman? For years, Ken had been known for his warmth and his energy, always joking with fans, taking selfies, spreading positivity. But lately, since his latest TV appearance in Spain, his entire demeanor seemed to have changed. Witnesses described his behavior as cold, withdrawn, and almost unrecognizable. Even his body language told a story, shoulders slightly hunched, eyes lost in thought, walking fast without looking at anyone. One fan who had followed him since Urquencicas said with tears in her eyes, "He didn't even look at us this time. It's like he wasn't the same person." Something happened to him. The speculation started immediately. Some Spanish tabloids suggested he was simply tired, others whispered about an emotional breakdown, or even a hidden fight with someone close to him. Reports soon surfaced that just days before the event, Ken had cancelled an interview at the last minute without explanation. And that fueled the fire even more. In one viral clip, Ken can be seen ignoring reporters who asked about Demet Özdemir. Normally, he would handle such questions with a charming laugh or a clever answer, but this time, he just looked down, took a deep breath, and walked away. The silence in that moment said more than words ever could. Within hours, the phrase, Yaman in Spain, was trending across X, formerly Twitter. Fans from Italy, Turkey, and Spain all shared the same feeling: something had changed in him. But what? Was it just the pressure of fame catching up to him? Was it heartbreak resurfacing after all these years? Or had something happened in Spain that no one knew about yet? Whatever it was, one thing was clear: this wasn't the same Yaman everyone knew. Over the following days, Spanish media couldn't talk about anything else. Every news outlet, from morning talk shows to entertainment magazines, was trying to decode what had caused Yaman's sudden behavior change. Photos from that day were analyzed frame by frame. His distant look, his silence, even the way he held his phone, everything became part of a bigger mystery. Some said he was simply exhausted from filming and traveling. Others believed something deeper was happening, maybe something emotional. And then came the moment that changed everything. A reporter from a Spanish entertainment channel claimed to have overheard Can's team arguing backstage before a press event. The journalist described it as tense, personal, and emotional. The rumor spread instantly. According to the reporter, the argument had something to do with someone he had recently reconnected with, someone who, years ago, had been a big part of his life. That one detail sent fans spiraling into speculation. Could it be Demet Özdemir? A few hours later, the theory gained strength when fans noticed Ken had liked, and then quickly unliked, an old photo of Demet on social media. The photo was from the Urquencicas era, one of their most iconic moments together. It was as if, for a brief second, his guard had dropped. But that one like was enough to make headlines across Europe. In Spain, TV host Marta Rodriguez commented live on air, "You can see the change in him. This isn't about fame or fatigue. It's about something emotional, maybe something unresolved from his past." And she wasn't the only one to think that way. Fans who met him at the airport said he looked torn, polite but distracted, as if his mind was somewhere else entirely. Some described a moment when he stopped near a window, staring outside for several seconds before walking away in silence. There was even talk that a private message had reached him just before he arrived in Spain, a message that completely changed his mood. No one knew what it said or who it came from, but close sources claimed that after reading it, he locked himself in his hotel room for hours. When he finally appeared in public again, it was clear something had shifted. Gone was the confident, playful Ken everyone adored. In his place was a man weighed down by something he couldn't say, a storm behind the eyes of a celebrity who'd always been the symbol of strength and charm. The Spanish press started calling it El Silencio de Ken, Can's silence. And soon, fans began to wonder, What exactly is he hiding? As the mystery deepened, fans and journalists began piecing together a timeline of Yaman's movements in Spain. He had arrived 3 days before the scheduled press event for his upcoming project, yet, curiously, he hadn't made any public appearances during that time. No photos with fans, no casual outings, no sign of the energetic personality everyone knew. Instead, witnesses at his hotel claimed he had spent most of his time alone, often late at night, walking in the lobby or sitting by himself in the bar area, staring at his phone. One hotel employee told a Spanish magazine, he looked lost. Not angry, not sad, just distant. Like someone who had just received news that changed everything. That one comment sent fans into another frenzy. People began rewatching every interview, every public video from that week, trying to read the emotion behind his eyes. And the more they looked, the clearer it seemed, this wasn't just fatigue or professional pressure. Something personal was haunting him. Then came a surprising turn. A paparazzi photo surfaced showing Can meeting privately with a well-known Turkish journalist who happened to be visiting Madrid at the same time. The two were seen sitting at an outdoor cafe for nearly 2 hours. Eyewitnesses described the conversation as intense and emotional, with Can appearing visibly upset. One moment, he was covering his face with his hands, the next, he stood up and walked away abruptly, leaving the journalist alone at the table. That image made headlines across Europe. Speculation hit new levels. Was this journalist the one who had brought him the message? Was the meeting connected to something, or someone, from his past? Just as fans were trying to make sense of it, Spanish television aired a short clip from an unreleased backstage video. It showed Can moments before going on stage for an award appearance. He was pacing, running his hand through his hair repeatedly, whispering something to himself. A crew member could be heard asking if he was okay, to which he quietly replied, "I just didn't expect this to follow me here." Those 8 words sent the internet into chaos. Follow him here? What did that mean? Who, or what, had followed him to Spain? Online forums and fan pages began exploding with theories. Some claimed it had to do with a personal loss. Others insisted it was connected to Demet, especially after a Turkish outlet published an unconfirmed report saying that Demet Özdemir had also been in Spain around the same time, for a brand collaboration. If that was true, it would explain everything: the silence, the sudden emotional distance, the mysterious behavior. Could they have crossed paths again, accidentally, or maybe even intentionally? By the end of that week, Spanish media had turned the story into a national obsession. And fans everywhere were asking the same question: what really happened to Yaman in Spain? The revelation came quietly, almost by accident. A Spanish journalist from El Diario del Corazón released a short article late one night that changed everything. The headline read, "A Secret Encounter in Madrid, the Reason Behind Yaman's Silence." According to the report, Can wasn't alone during those first 2 days in Spain. A source close to the event organizers claimed that someone from Turkey had arrived just 1 day before him, a woman he hadn't seen in years, but who once shared an undeniable connection with him, Demet Özdemir. At first, fans refused to believe it. How could such a coincidence happen? But then, photos began to surface, grainy, distant shots that appeared to show a woman with long dark hair, walking into the same hotel where Can was staying. The timestamp matched perfectly with the night before his sudden change in behavior. When confronted with the rumors, Demet's team neither confirmed nor denied her presence in Spain. They simply said she was there for professional reasons. But the timing was too perfect, and the emotional tension surrounding Can's sudden withdrawal only made it more believable. Spanish media immediately linked the dots: they must have met. Even if just for a few minutes, and that meeting had clearly shaken him. Fans began to imagine what that encounter could have been like. After all these years of silence, what words could possibly pass between two people whose story had once captured the hearts of millions? Witnesses later reported seeing Can leaving the hotel late that night, wearing a black jacket and cap, walking alone through the quiet streets of Madrid. One fan who recognized him said, he looked emotional, like someone who had said goodbye to a dream that no longer belonged to him. It wasn't just a random encounter anymore, it felt like closure. Something that had been left unsaid for years had finally surfaced, and it had left him deeply affected. The following morning, when he appeared in public again, everything made sense. The serious expression. The silence. The way he avoided cameras. He wasn't angry, he was overwhelmed. Whatever happened between them in Madrid had clearly reopened an old wound. Meanwhile, fans noticed subtle gestures that hinted at the truth. Ken had stopped posting on social media for several days. When he finally shared something again, it was a black and white photo of a sunset with a single caption, Algunas historias no terminan, cambian de forma. Some stories don't end, they just change form. That one sentence broke the internet. Spanish and Turkish fans flooded the comments with emotional messages, convinced that this was his indirect message to Demet. And maybe, in a way, it was. The world had just witnessed not a scandal, but a man confronting his own past, quietly, painfully, and without a script. In the days that followed, Spain continued to buzz with speculation. Every show, every journalist, every social media influencer wanted to uncover the truth behind Ken Yaman's emotional transformation. Yet, amidst all the noise, Ken himself remained silent. He didn't deny, he didn't explain, he simply carried on, his silence becoming louder than any statement could ever be. At one charity gala in Barcelona, his first public appearance after the rumored encounter, fans were surprised to see him looking different, not just in mood, but in presence. He was calmer, slower in his movements, his voice softer when he greeted the audience. There was still that signature strength in his posture, but something in his eyes had changed, they looked heavier, more human, more real. One of the organizers later told a local TV program, he thanked everyone so sincerely, it felt like he wasn't playing a role anymore. It was Ken, the man, not the star. Behind the scenes, sources said he had spent much of his free time alone, walking near the sea and avoiding social events. People close to him revealed that he was reflecting deeply on his career, his relationships, and the cost of fame. The encounter in Madrid, whether real or imagined, had clearly awakened something inside him. For the first time in years, he began turning down offers. Projects that he once would have accepted immediately were now being postponed. He wants time, one insider told Hola magazine. He said he needs to breathe again. The same week, Spanish tabloids published unseen photos of him sitting by himself at a cafe in Malaga. No security, no cameras, just Ken, a cup of coffee, and a notebook. One of the pictures showed him smiling faintly at something he'd written down. Fans quickly zoomed in and noticed a single word at the top of the page, closure. That word became a symbol. People began to see his behavior change, not as arrogance or coldness, but as something else entirely, healing. After years of public scrutiny, of questions about his love life and private battles, maybe he had finally allowed himself to feel vulnerable. Even Spanish journalists, usually quick to dramatize celebrity stories, started writing differently about him. They called it La Metamorphosis de Ken, the transformation of Ken. And in a rare interview snippet recorded off camera, he was overheard saying to a colleague, "Sometimes silence is the only way to protect what's left of you." Those words spread like wildfire. Fans who had once been worried now understood, the silence wasn't distance, it was peace. Still, one question lingered in everyone's mind, was this change permanent, or just temporary? Would the Ken Yaman they knew ever return, or had Spain witnessed the beginning of a completely new chapter in his life? The morning he left Spain, the streets of Madrid were quiet, yet dozens of fans waited outside the hotel, hoping for one last glimpse. When the doors opened, Ken Yaman stepped out wearing dark sunglasses and a long coat, his luggage carried by an assistant. For a moment, the flashes of cameras filled the air. But unlike before, he didn't hurry. He stopped, looked around, and smiled faintly, the kind of smile that said goodbye without words. Reporters shouted questions, "Ken, are you okay? Was Demet really here? Why did you change so much?" He didn't answer. He just raised his hand slightly, a silent wave of gratitude, then walked toward the car waiting for him. One Spanish journalist whispered, "He looked peaceful. Like someone who finally made peace with his past." As the car drove away, a sense of calm replaced the chaos. The man who had arrived full of tension and unanswered questions was leaving lighter, not because he'd escaped the truth, but because he'd faced it. Later that evening, he posted one final message on his Instagram story, a simple image of the Madrid skyline at sunset, with the words, "Gracias por hacerme sentir humano." Thank you for making me feel human. That single phrase echoed across social media. It was reposted thousands of times, translated into dozens of languages, and even quoted by Spanish newspapers the next morning. It wasn't just a celebrity moment anymore, it was something deeper. Spain had expected a superstar, but what they witnessed was a man rediscovering himself. His silence, once seen as arrogance, had become a symbol of strength. And as his plane took off into the soft orange sky, one thing was certain: Yaman had changed, not just for the cameras, but for real. Some stories end with words. His ended with a look, quiet, honest, unforgettable.